Abhishek left police station busy attending a call, the inspector informing him that a man saw Ishita with some anonymous guy in the car. Abhishek on his way asked the inspector to make that man's sketch by artist and take the statement. Describing Raman, the man says he took Ishita at the cliff and then left. Raman, arguing with Mr. and Mrs. Bhalla, says he is marrying Niddhi and takes her to the room. Mrs. Bhalla yells and claims Niddhi can't replace Ishita in any manner. Though Shagun says, apologizing to Mr. Bhalla, that you're seeing the same things happened years ago, and accepts her being wrong and keeping Raman away from you all. Mr. Bhalla replies saying things have changed, earlier you said the same, now Raman is saying this. On this, Shagun gave him her condolences and assures she'll be taking care of this matter. Sharvan and Rui being asked to finish their homework and look after for Vandhu by Bhalla as she goes to have a nap, taking their assurance. Rui wants to play football and asks Sharvan to join her, but Sharvan forbids her and says that he'll be taking care of her and looks after for her. Vandhu drinking water heard kids wishing to have food like French fries or noodles and tells them she can make. Niddhi, showing her concern, asks Raman to calm down. The BP. Shagun shouts on Raman and Niddhi, and Raman reacts on this saying, don't teach me how to talk to elders, this is my house and they're my parents, you're a guest and behave like one. Shagun asks, shouting, why Niddhi is here then, what she's doing here. Raman claims we both love each other since years. Shagun denies this, saying you only loved two women, Ishita and me, this can't be happening, Niddhi was never the part, and asks if she's blackmailing you. Raman shouts he'll not take any nonsense, and asks her to leave the room like she left from his life. Shagun tells she's pregnant with his baby and will give birth to his child for Ishita's sake, and tell baby about the good mom and the father, and leaves. Niddhi is afraid of how this relation would work. Raman cherishes her, saying our love and relation are the imps and our family would accept this after marriage, and tells you better hire a wedding planner. Niddhi already spoke to the one and invited her friends at home to give them the good news. Raman asks her to accept his family. Vandhu asks kids to have French fries and noodles she cooked. Rui and Sharavan insist Vandhu sit along. Vandhu tells them she is aware of their taking care of her. Sharvan humbly says we will be your appa and amma. On this, Vandhu starts crying, missing Ishita, and hugs them. After so much humiliation, Mr. Bhalla decides to leave the house and says Raman can live with his new wife, I don't want to see his face. Mrs. Bhalla, being helpless mother, says she can't leave Raman and requests to stay here and enlighten him right path, please change your decision, and Mr. Bhalla calms down. Next morning, in front of Raman's parents, Niddhi greets Raman and offers a check for help, saying I'm to be your wife, I can do this. Rishi, leaving home, says my lawyer asked me to stay separate before the divorce. Raman is now bad at her for acting like a child, but Rishi asked him to talk to her lawyer and leaves. Niddhi soothes him, saying she'll talk to her, but Raman asks her to concentrate on party and leaves. Mrs. Bhalla shocks and says, is there any party at home? Shagun welcomes Manoj's mom at home, where Manoj gets surprised seeing his mother home. Mother says she needs to fix their marriage date, it's just 2 months for your delivery. She hands over some paper to Shagun and asks her to sign them. Shagun gets stupefied reading the prenup contract. Manoj exclaims, he loves Shagun and she'll be along for her life, there is no need of this. His mother claims she's afraid of anything to happen, Manoj has done doctorate, we have family wealth. Shagun reacts on allegations, saying we aren't even married yet, and you're saying this. His mother debates, saying you got separated from your hubby, and Manoj is emotional, he won't be able to take any breakup, be practical, and if you're sure of being together just sign it and hire a lawyer. Poor Shagun does the same with teary eyes. Niddhi doesn't even know to boil water, forgets to manage any caterer and gets struck. Niddhi sweetly asks Mr. and Mrs. Bhalla to stay good for Raman's sake and invites them to the party. Mr. Bhalla denies attending the party and wedding. Niddhi says everything is being done for Raman and buttering Mrs. Bhalla's culinary skills, asks her to cook yummy food for her friends, telling her helpless condition as her caterer not turning up. Mrs. Bhalla denies being the part of the party. Niddhi sets on fire and blackmails her, reminding the check she gave to Raman for his work, handing over the menu to be cooked, threatening Mrs. Bhalla if she wants a smooth run of Raman's business or not, walks away for beauty sleep, leaving Mrs. Bhalla miserable.